What's up, guys? Welcome to Lost Sons Podcast, and today we have a special guest. Steve Dunford is in the house. We're going to be chatting a little bit, having a couple drinks, and just, enjoying life together. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy.
Oh.
We get a...
Then that's when the intro music. Yeah. That's when the intro music comes in.
Sick. Oh, wait.
No, that's yours.
Wrong channel. Wrong channel.
So many YouTube
Whoops.
channels now.
It sounded like the introduction to Star Wars. Kind of.
Just like
heavy.
It was all in the tone there. Yeah. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. What you been up to lately? How you been staying active during the shutdown?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to stay as active as I can be. You know.
Punching things.
Yeah, I've been seeing lots of.
Yeah,
I'm very
I've
jealous.
been boxing for about 2 years, so
Sick.
just trying to keep up with it. You know?
Are you getting like were you going through a trainer at the gym and stuff like that?
Lot.
Like an actual one-on-one guy that was.
Yeah. I have
sick.
a boxing coach back in Vancouver.
That's so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
That's
he's crazy.
That's something I've always wanted to do. Like, is just get. My dad bugged me for years to get into martial arts. It was never something I was interested in getting into because he always bugged me about it. You know what I mean? It was one of those things that was just, your dad bugs you, but it's like, fuck off, Dad. I'm going to go do something else. But then, like, later on in life now, I'm like, I would want to get into it because I want to be something that's disciplined and active, and then also be able to defend yourself and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's funny as a kid too, like what you think of martial arts, right? Like it's a very like hiya type of like
You very much like
Karate only, too.
Yeah,
like
right?
when we
Yeah.
were growing up, that's all
That's
they
all
had.
it was. Yeah.
The only thing I knew was Bruce Lee, and I watched tons of Bruce Lee stuff with my dad
Yeah.
when I was a kid, and like that was it for martial arts, right?
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
It's just like remember just growing up and your parents would be like, "Hey, do you want to take piano lessons?" And you're like, "Oh
Not
God,
really, yeah.
not really." But now you're like, "Shit, I should have
really.
I should have taken piano lessons."
Yeah, that is a perfect thing. A couple months ago, I tried learning piano by myself, and I was like, "This is friggin' hard. I wish I had someone to teach me." And I'm like, "I don't want to go pay for lessons. I'm gonna try and do this myself." And I'm like, "No, I'm not doing this myself." Funny enough, one of the few songs I did learn was "Dear Elizabeth" on piano.
No way.
That was that was like because it was simple enough that I could do the chords on my left side, and then it was yeah, and then I knew the vocals already, so as long as I slowed it down and Dear Elizabeth,
Yeah, that's crazy. I actually don't know how to play piano, so writing that was really strange because it was just what you said. It was just like figuring out.
It's just
Right.
nice simplicity, right? A little bit of a chord change here, and then a nice little melody on top. It's fun, yeah. I enjoyed it, yeah. But piano was one of those things. And it's funny because even when I was younger, my dad got me guitar lessons, and I can remember literally not showing up because I wanted to slide down a hill. It was just something as simple as like a mountain of snow that was just on the side of the road, and I was like, I'm gonna slide down this for an hour instead of go home and do guitar lessons and stuff.
Right.
And then, what is it now? All I'm doing is guitar now. You know
Do you
what I
think
mean?
that has something to do with an age where your mind's like developing and you're not like, it's hard to focus on something that hasn't fully interested you yet? Do you think that has something to do with it?
And it's the lack of instant gratification. where-
Very much so. Yeah, that's definitely something that you have to work hard at, and that first month is always the worst for learning almost any instrument if you don't have any kind of knowledge about it already.
Right.
Like it's such a hump to go over. And then even then, when you're a kid, how many kids do you know that are under the age of 10 that are dedicated to music that didn't have it significantly pushed on them from their parents?
Right.
You know what I mean? That actually sought it out and was like, I want to go do guitar lessons, and kept on it and did those things by themselves instead of with their friends and stuff like that. I mean, that was always the biggest thing that held me back, is I wanted to be doing it with my friends.
Yeah.
When I got into it more, it was because I was playing in a school band, and I was like, well, if I'm going to be in a school band, I don't want to play saxophone, I want to play guitar. So I got the opportunity to play guitar, and so that's what I did. And so little things like that were just switching over to, if I'm going down that avenue, I'm going to want to do the thing that I like doing the most kind of deal. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. When you're a kid, your mind's all over the place, you know? It's
My mind's still all over the
Like,
place.
yeah.
Like, it always
Well,
happens.
and then it also, you have to think about it in like, it's a bit of a fad when you're a kid too. You might be into guitar one week, and then you're into Yu-Gi-Oh the next week, and then you're onto Pokemon the week after, and Beyblade. You know what I mean? The cycle is always there, so it's kind of tough to keep that certain interest without it being like pressured from an outside source.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you don't get to enjoy it as much when you're a kid because you feel like it's not fun. It's just work,
yeah, like
right?
well, when did you start? Like the two of you, when did you start playing guitar? Do you remember what age? Like
I
that
know
you really
that I actually played it significantly, never stopped, was in grade 7 or 8.
Kind of like junior high.
Yeah, so it would have
Yeah.
been like right at the end of my public school years. And grade 7 I played saxophone, and then I went to band camp, and then grade 8 I was like, nah, I'm gonna play guitar instead.
Right.
And then I learned all this little tabs and things like that. And, I was playing like, Damn It by Blink-182 is the very first song guitar I ever learned. That wasn't just like a stupid band song that was just like, random stuff. A dude in my class has like, oh, I learned the song. I was like, hey, I kind of know how that goes. And then he showed me it, and then he would play the lead part, and I would play the we'd go back and forth, and that was the first time I ever got to jam with somebody and like learn something. So
That's sick.
yeah, it would have been like grade 8, and then from then on, I always kept playing guitar. But I had lessons in grade 4 and grade 5, and I had the guitar sitting around the house all that time, and I just never really played that much.
Yeah.
Which is funny too, because I had a buddy who, when I was in grade 5, he was in grade 8 that lived near me, and he would borrow my guitar so he could play in the school band with it. So it was like, not only did I have it not have interest, but like my buddy who I hung out with and looked up to was interested enough to borrow my stuff. And then maybe that like transition to me being in a band. He actually started a band with his buddies, and to this day I remember the band name. It was called Bye and Thanks for All the Shoes.
Oh wow. Okay.
What a band name, right?
You guys were hipster before hipster was the thing.
Bye and thanks for all the shoes.
Oh my god.
What about you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I started when I was I think like 9 or 10, and then I just like took off, man. I just kept practicing in my room forever, and then it's like I was 14, and that's when I started playing in a band, and then it's like, that's all history. So yeah.
Cool.
Started really, really early, and just always knew that I wanted to create songs and not really play other people's music. That wasn't really as interesting to me. So I've learned maybe like 10 songs in my life, like really such a small amount.
But if you wanted to, you could probably learn the majority of songs
very much
because of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It just, I always just had this thing, like I wanted to put my own spin on everything. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, man?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, to be honest, I think it was I think it was like a grade 8, and grade 9, like that.
It's
kind
right
of like
in that little
that little pocket.
age, like 11 to 14, where you're like decide like what's gonna be my thing to get chicks.
It's a good thing to like. It makes it part of your identity though, and like the earlier and when you start that, then you're just like, especially like grade 9, you're starting a new school, and you're just like, oh yeah, I can shred guitar. Like, isn't that fucking sick? Like
Well, and then in those years too, your music kind of defines the people you hang out with. Greatly. If you're into rap, you're hanging out with the hip hop dudes and stuff like that, because that's the kind of image that you're looking up to and stuff like that. So whatever music you're into and stuff, that is your path throughout life when you really think about it.
It's true.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I remember at my high school it was very divided. It was like kind of like the metalheads, but like Slipknot and kind of like Metallica.
The, like,
you know what I mean? Like
metalheads,
and then there was kind of like this big divide between just that and like hip hop and like rap and stuff. So when I started listening to stuff like, I remember when Take This to Your Grave came out, Fall Out Boy's album.
Okay,
and nobody really had heard it and knew what was going on. Just kind of just started playing like that kind of stuff, and it was just kind of right in the middle between the two type of people.
Yeah,
so.
and there was a good little push right in that era of like that like true pop punk side of like they're taking a lot of pop influences, but they're incorporating that punk element for Good Charlotte,
Newfound
for Fall Out
Glory.
Boy.
Yeah,
there was a lot of bands that were going mainstream that had that. Billy Talent were all in that good wave of like, what is it, late 90s to early 2000s kind of pop punk that kind of
pretty much
put a big staple on the scene and really allowed a lot of bands like A Day to Remember and stuff like that to be able to pop off the way they did, to be like widespread and stuff, and to get those like ears on them to be able to like just to have that transition, those gateway bands and stuff like that are like a little bit heavier, but they're not quite heavy. Like old Billy Talent stuff and old Sum 41 is like heavy shit.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of double kick and stuff like that, right?
You can tell
but
the
then
influence.
the influence, exactly. The influence from like the hardcore metal scene is definitely there earlier on. Not to say that they like went poppier, but their music developed in a more mature way that was less down that metal side and the less, ADD side, for lack of a better term,
Yeah, and that is always the connection too, right? Is like metal always has that like crazy, sporadic, chaotic nature to it, and like you can't really have a quote unquote like mature sound without it being or with it being chaotic, right?
Yeah. One thing I did want to say is comparing like when you were talking about learning stuff. Like you haven't really learned a lot of covers. And
Yeah.
I can definitely vouch for that. When I first joined the band, I was like, "Do you guys know any of these?" And they didn't know any fucking thing. And that was such
He's
a
like,
different
"No."
thing for me because Alex was always like, "I'm gonna maybe see this or approach it from another angle and have that different development of hearing a song and maybe like I like that idea. I'm gonna expand on stuff like that." And I'm from the opposite side where I was just spending so much time just alone by myself, singing along to things and learning covers and stuff like that. And like me as a musician, that was all I knew when I even first came into the band. I didn't know anything about writing. I'd never written a song really or anything like that. It was just all I know is how to do covers and how to mimic other people because that's how I've learned. You know
Well,
what I mean?
wouldn't you kind of say that kind of like is what made you into a vocalist versus it kind of like pushed you down that road?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely helped me develop, and it really helped me with the different styles that I can pull off.
Yeah. If you had said no there, I would have been so pissed.
because like the amount of stuff that I can like,
Nah.
I think about it, and there's a lot of different things that I can mimic as far as with my voice and stuff like that. When I sing stuff, I can attempt to mimic whatever tone that song has going on or whatever
Right.
vocalist is doing. And it's only up until the last few years where I've really learned what my actual voice sounds like and the kind of stuff I should be writing as opposed to what I think would sound good or the kind of style I want to go for that stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I realize I hate the sound of what it is. It's like very like 3 Days Gracie is right in my pocket, and I'm just like I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So I just avoid singing certain things that are in my in that like rock kind of metal pocket because I'm like it's not what I want to be
That's what
doing.
it makes you think of. Yeah.
Right away, as soon as I hear the tone, like I remember I got this like Linkin Parky band sent to me, and they were looking for a vocalist, and I started singing some of the stuff, but the kind of key that I had to sing it in because I didn't have the range to go higher, I was like, I absolutely hate this stuff. It sounds just like all this kind of that tone, if you will. So
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't something I wanted to go for. But yeah, it's helped me develop versatility in my voice. Learning how to mimic all these different kinds of things and all the crazy high singing that was from all the friggin' emo bands back in the day and stuff, and learning how to like cut out low end and just go for that whiny part, and then learning the different kinds of screams as far as like the Attila side and like the more E-tid Fry kind of screams and stuff like that. It really did help me develop into doing all these different styles on the albums. Whether people heard it or not is another story, but they were still there, and
They were there.
It
yeah,
allowed
yeah.
me to do it and to give me different nuances throughout the song and to evoke a little more emotion, I think, while we were writing the music. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that you guys, your band always had, more to it than everyone else. I that's just what I thought. This isn't a shot at other bands. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we like to think that too. We just
Yeah.
can't really say it as much out loud, And
I'll
we're-
say it.
And we're a little too
That's-
close to the project too
That's
because we put
always
the
too
work in.
close.
Right?
Yeah,
So
it-
everyone thinks they're doing the coolest, unique thing, or at least they want to feel like they're doing something new and unique that's going to be well received and out there and stuff like that. But the way we always looked at it is we were a band's band.
Yeah.
Anyone who was in a band and was in the music scene and wrote music and stuff really loved us because they
Yeah.
could appreciate what we're doing.
They understood
And the
it.
different changes and the time changes and even the genre changes we were doing. They're like, a normal person would feel like that's off, but I get what you're doing and that's kind of cool. And they're like, it's one of those things where you're playing and you see someone get like a little shit-eating grin on their face or that like stank face, and you're like, yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got them with that. So
We forfeited flow for like
for cool nuances and stuff that we
For uniqueness.
and stuff that entertained us too,
Yeah,
right?
for
Stuff
sure.
that kept us involved and made us say like, oh, that's cool. That'll fuck with people. Like,
Well, I think that's a big thing that
Yeah.
people kind of forget about, that like when you're in a band, you usually are making the music that you would want to hear.
yeah,
Whether or not people mistake that for being like conceited or whatnot. I heard there was a story, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, I don't know if this is true, but a girl got in his car and he was listening to like a demo that he had
I know what
made.
you're talking about. Yeah,
And she was like, "Oh my god, you can't believe
Yeah.
you're listening to
you
yourself."
listen to your own shit,
But
yeah,
his response was something like, "Yeah, well, making the music I would want to hear."
yeah.
Which I mean, I've always kind of felt that's the case. Like you were saying, you don't like 3 Days Grace, so your band never sounded like them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you? Why would you want to make stuff that
Sounds
you
certain
wouldn't
like that,
want to
yeah.
listen to?
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Man, and back when I was like mixing the album, I would listen to only my music forever because I would listen to it on the way to work and on the way back, and I'd make my own mix notes, and I'd come home and I'd remix it, and then I'd do the same thing the next day, and it was just like a.
But that's awesome. That's like that's part of it, though. You know, I've always thought that's part of it. There's a fine line, you know, but I think listening to your own music and critiquing it, and then going back to the writing board. Just what you got to do.
You have to do it, yeah.
Or you don't, and you just sound like you're not going to sound any better.
Well, and honestly, if you don't listen to your own music and get hyped about what you wrote, then what the fuck are you even putting it out for?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, I get behind that.
I just had a conversation with Liam last night about this. Won't say the artist or anything like that. We're going to keep this on the wrap, but he was just like, how did this person all be involved in this in a way? I'll listen to the track and I'll be like, yeah, let's put that out. That's the one, you know what I mean, and hype it up, and I was just like, I don't know, man. Maybe you just make a track, you put it out, and you keep the ball going. You know what I mean? What's the point of not putting tracks out at some point? You got to keep the ball rolling. But there's lots of stuff that we didn't put out. We didn't put out Tales of the Silverback.
Right.
We haven't put out Scratch Sessions yet.
Yeah.
So there's a couple tracks that we haven't put out because they're not ready.
Do you know who's notorious for not putting music out? Kent. I love him. I love him to death. I can
only imagine.
That dude writes so much.
Dude, I remember
he's incredible.
When we were recording our album there, he showed me some Vegas stuff that it was like he had like 45 tracks.
Yeah, dude. There's literally
like, what the fuck is all this?
And some of it's pure gold too. He's just like constantly like writing and being creative. And I think he gets in his own head of like, no, I don't want to continue that. But we probably had 2 or 3 albums that never got put out. So
for anyone who's not aware, the way we all met, we went and recorded with Kent Sheehy. Is that exactly?
It's spelled that way.
Sheehy. Kent, great dude. Adonis of a gentleman.
Absolutely.
Just looks like a Greek god. We went and recorded our first album with him, Serpent and the Wolf, on the northeast end here in Barrie, and Mr. Steve here actually lived with him at the time.
Yeah,
and,
I still have your shirt.
Which one?
Yeah.
The serpent and the wolf.
That's the bomb. That's the
very first one with the red and the
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, the grays and like it's a black shirt.
It's a good shirt.
We put our best foot forward on that.
We sold a lot of those shirts. Some money there.
Well, you did the right thing. Like, not to get off topic, but like you had somebody. I'm assuming you had somebody else design it.
Yes, we paid like $250 for that.
It was the best. It's the best decision.
When
people design their own merch, sometimes it kind of.
I've seen a lot of merch come out of Barrie lately. And stuff that wasn't even designed by the band themselves that is questionable.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the worst.
Better stuff come out from the same company as of recently, but there's some questionable things. Maybe that's something we go over in a podcast, Alex, is like things to avoid while making merch, mismatched text, overdoing logo sizes, stuff like that.
It's like a tutorial. We'll make it half tutorial.
Placement, very much so. We can bring it up on the computer and do placement and stuff like that, but it's something that, definitely makes a difference because we fucked up shirts and stuff like that in the past.
Yeah.
And more so because you were in the t-shirt printing business before we met you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
actually, I was actually the silk screening shirts. And
that's what I was going to say. How I remember that is beyond
I think almost all the shirts that we did, I printed.
You did them, yeah.
Which is like, and the designs, which is kind of cool.
Sweet.
I dug it. I had just about... I remember when the first one with like the fist in it, I think.
Yeah.
The tank top. Yeah. I had that for the longest time.
That was kind of like the fight on.
Thing. Yeah.
I think that's where we're going. It had this comic like feel to it.
Yeah. Before I forget though, let me touch back on the meeting, Steve and Tom.
Yeah, we digress.
The first time that I'd even heard about you was we were talking with Kent, and he had said that he had met you just in a beer store, in line at a beer store. Is that right?
Okay, so we actually met in high school.
Okay. But
when I moved to Barrie,
he was in line at the beer store.
I was actually listening to, and I believe it was like a Mayday Parade like tune or something. Okay. And my friend was in the beer store down on, I guess it's Dunlop. Is that the one?
It would. Yeah, Dunlop and Johnson.
Yeah,
so
right there.
Johnson, yeah.
And I guess I was playing the music loud enough for him to hear, and he came out and he turned around. He's looking for the music. And he came over to me and he was like, "Holy crap, what are you doing here?" And I was like,
"Were you singing?"
I don't think I was. Okay. I think I was just listening. Maybe I was singing along too. But if I was singing, he probably would have been like, "Ugh,"
Whatever. Right away.
But he came over and we kind of just, we knew each other from high school, and we both ended up in Barrie, and they were looking for a singer for their band, which
Cool.
is like it's very strange how it happened.
Serendipitous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, he had told me that when he met you, like he gave you the tracks, and like within that week, you had written to all the tunes.
Yeah,
came
he
back
gave
with, like,
me
the 5 tunes or 6 tunes or whatever.
He
Well,
gave me
5
he
plus
gave me
Waves,
4 or
right?
5 of them, and
then Waves was a 6.
there was
album, right?
Waves I wrote myself, but I think there was actually some stuff that we never put out. But he gave me a bunch of stuff without any vocals, without any melodies, without anything. And I just came back in a week and had them all done.
Sweet.
And we went in for the No Turning Back album, and a lot of the stuff that is on that record we kind of laugh about because we did it so quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the stuff is actually like first and second takes, and we just kept it.
Dude, it sounded good.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who has literally listened to that album, okay, I'm not going to say literally because I couldn't tell you how many times I've listened to it. And not only that, but I can sing it with you front to back. You know what I mean? Like, I've dove deep on that album. Like, I've dove deep on Divine. Like, I've dove deep on Straight Reason Line. Like, I've dove deep on every one of my favorite bands, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's good, man. Like, if you, I didn't know it was a 2-take kind of thing. Even when, well, in that same boat, Kent told me that he did fucking Long-Standing Grudge. Is that the next album that he put out with him on vocals? He told me he did that in like a morning session with like out any warm-ups and stuff. And I was like, all right, I don't get that. It's not something I would do as a vocalist, but you know what I mean? If it works for you and that's what you feel like you feel comfortable doing, then go for it. And if you did it on an album and it sounds good, then it sounds good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's like, I wouldn't have, it's money, dude.
Well, the same thing with
money takes.
the third one we did, Bitter Bones. We did that. It was just we were just in a like a rented house out in Fenland Falls, and we wrote and recorded the whole album in like 7 days.
Sick.
And
That's awesome.
it just seems to
mojo.
be
Tons of mojo.
Yeah.
yeah, tons of mojo.
Tons of
I feel
mojo,
like
dude.
that if you overthink things and you go back and you record them and you polish them so much, you know, it might sometimes it's a little overdone.
It's a little. See, that's why we never put out scratch sessions, because we had done it in a weekend for the one tune, and then we always felt like we could go back and do better, right?
Mhm.
So it was like, if we didn't put it out right away, we can always go back and do better.
And you know too, like as
Yeah.
a you know, vocalist or as a guitar player
Yeah.
or whatever your job in the band is, I think you know right away when you have something and you're like, oh yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's it.
Or you have something and you're like, let's kind of hold on to that for a bit,
Yeah.
you know?
The idea is there. Let's work on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know.
Yeah.
Or you don't know.
Maybe you don't, and you put it out anyway.
Sometimes you just try to make it work in the mix. It just goes crazy.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm
Glad we're talking about Vegas.
Vegas. Good
'Cause
times.
I miss Vegas.
Yeah. One thing I was very sad about is we planned our last tour right at the last time that Vegas played at the Fox.
Mhm.
And months before we had talked about you doing the show and stuff like that. And then we had fucked up. We were in Newmarket that night. And I remember us finishing our set because we had played very early.
Right.
And we actually sat there, we're like, do we just leave this show? Do we just say, fuck it, don't watch the bands we're touring with, don't watch anybody else, and just go back to Barrie and just go catch Vegas?
I was, so dick that
Yeah.
that would have been bad idea.
Well, we
Well, I think the
Yeah.
breaking point was that we knew we wouldn't get in.
Yeah.
right.
Because it was we knew it was going to be at capacity
Yeah,
anyway. So we're like,
easy.
even if we go back, the chances of 5 of us getting in are pretty slim.
Yeah, it sold out pretty quickly. I
Mhm.
didn't
Yeah.
really like. I mean, it's not the biggest venue, but yeah,
I knew it would.
Yeah.
Because it was you guys in Latchkey, right?
I'm trying to recall how long ago that was.
It was back in August,
Yeah.
I think that one.
October.
Yeah.
It
It,
was
had
a
to be
long
August.
To be honest, I think
with
that
Rona and everything.
I don't
feels
think
like
that was with
forever ago.
with those guys. It might have been, or it might have intended to be, but I'm pretty sure it was like Flight 97
Oh yeah.
and Rosewood.
Yes,
That,
yes,
that
that's
would
right.
make sense.
And then
That
I
would
think
make
I
sense.
I
Yeah,
swear
yeah,
there
that's
were.
good. Three. That's good.
I think there was another
Three
band too.
band,
I don't know. I completely forget some of the venues. Like I forgot we opened up for Protest the Hero until until I like look back at stuff and you're like, oh okay, wow,
All right,
yeah,
I did all that. Yeah.
yeah. We
That was
played
our show.
Yeah.
we played a bit.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the blessing and the curse a little bit of how much we've all done as musicians over the years, right? Like
Mhm.
me and Alex have been in the scene for 10 plus years. It's got to be what, 13, 14 for you then?
It's probably coming up on. It's probably about 12.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Were you in bands before Vegas?
Yeah, but they were kind of like they were more just kind of like
high school whatever bands.
Yeah, like cover bands and stuff, and like
Okay.
no one really like had the full momentum behind it that we
Didn't
did.
get to write the full original album and actually kind of
Yeah.
showcase it as this is us as original musicians.
Yeah.
I feel you. A lot of people don't get the difference between that. Like when I tell bands that we go out and play shows, they're like, "Oh, do you play your own music?" And I'm like, "Yeah." What do you?
Yeah,
like,
what are you talking
I don't know how
about?
many times that kind of came up when I was talking to
really?
people
Yeah.
because they didn't like. I guess the idea of playing your own music, they're like, "Do you play your own music?" Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah. Of course we do. Yeah. I'm not. If I wouldn't be like, "Yeah, I'm in a band and we play covers," I'd be like, "I'm in a cover band."
Right.
That would be,
yeah, that's
it would before I say band, I would say the word cover every single
You
time.
just
you know
discount
what I mean?
yourself right off the jump.
Yeah, exactly.
No shade to the cover artists.
There's lots of super professional artists out there that do cover bands and pay the bills and stuff
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
awesome.
That's where they found their avenue of making a living at it because that's where the most money was. It does not mean that they aren't doing their own original music on the side, but that's where the paycheck is, and that's the reality of the industry. To be honest with you,
yeah.
I mean, that's why I've considered doing acoustic sets for covers and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you've done acoustic sets at certain places here and there. And
more than
of cash,
yeah.
right?
I think I actually probably played more shows of that than the Vegas Wake Up.
Because there's money to be made, right? And there's a demand for it, even if it's simple as going out to an open mic or you're getting paid $50 or $100 to go fill 2 hours,
and
right?
just polishing like your skills too. And like when you're a younger kid, like you want to play, and sometimes it's hard to get a group of people on the same page. So the easiest way around that is to kind of go and do it
and just do
on
it
your
yourself,
own.
Yeah.
Well, you can find people that way too, right? They see you at playing at a bar and they're like, "Oh, well, you can fucking sing. Will you like sing for our band?" And then
that's what happened with
just
Kent.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
we had played the Fox when it was the original.
That fucking side stage.
And
which wasn't bad.
I
kinda
liked it. I liked it.
It wasn't deep, but you spread everybody out along that front end, so you had
liked
huge
it.
front road.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
I thought it was cool.
it was a good time. Go ahead though. Sorry.
Oh, I don't even know where I was going with it. But it's funny, we actually had a show on the 24th of May, which is like this Saturday.
Yeah,
at the Fox before
everything
happened. And it kind of really like what a
good.
bummer.
Yeah.
Like maybe not to go down the road of like bummer stuff, but like really like that let's give a shout out to like Shane and the Fox for really being a huge part of why I was even able to be in a band.
Yep.
And we can definitely relate to that.
Yeah, because without that venue, there were a few other ones, but like he really like made it, the kind of the pinnacle place to play. Well, I thought.
Well, for people who aren't familiar with the older roots of the Barrie scene, this is pretty much what it was. It was Foundation. And we had Native Friendship
Center,
right? And that was it. It had a lot of local shows, and then some we'll call off-brand promoters that were doing Native Friendship Center and more band-run stuff. And then you had Rob Cripps and you had Matt Kegelman and Panda Productions holding it down in the Foundy.
Yep.
And then the Foundy went away and the Mansion came in. The Friendship Center was probably not doing shows anymore around that time, and then Baja opened up. And Baja was doing some good stuff, and I'm pretty sure Rob was doing a lot of shows at Baja. We had great shows there. We had what was it?
Counterparts played there.
Counterparts, Plea for Purging.
Plea for Purging.
Plea for Purging.
You guys played that one too.
Yeah, we played that one.
The show when that dude almost fucking.
Okay.
Oh, dude almost died.
Okay, I don't want to get off topic, but you let me know when I can touch in on that. Because that's a crazy story.
Okay, here,
man. Do it now.
This podcast goes everywhere.
So
let's go.
We actually used them.
Oh my god.
We actually used I had a sound system with my buddy Adam Earhart, and it was a Yorkville system, and it was powerful enough for a show like that. So we actually used that gear for that show, and that was a big building.
You could easily do 400 people.
I think there was maybe even 500 kids there, man.
Probably.
Yeah, and it was $2 tickets. It was $2 tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I still have the poster
disgusting.
for that, and I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Plea for Purging that we're playing.
Plea, Fallen Archaea, Beheading of a King.
Yeah, and okay,
right. It was stacked.
Beheading of a King actually stayed at my at our place that night, which
that was the first time I ever saw them and saw Maddie Paquette, and the last time I got to see Maddie.
Oh yeah.
Holy fuck, was I ever impressed?
Yeah,
I'm super jealous you got to hang out with them that night.
Well, actually, everyone went to bed, and Kent was like, "Well, they're coming to stay here because I told them they could. Can you stay up and let them in?" So I actually stayed up and talked to him that night, and to hear like the news, like I don't know, a couple months later was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so for that show, I remember a kid being up on stage, and of course it's really loud, right? And he jumped up off the stage into the crowd, and it was like a trampoline. He had jumped off and went backwards, so his
That's what I
back
heard
was
too.
towards the crowd, and he just shot back up. So whoever was underneath him, shot him back up. And the sound that it made when this kid hit the floor, you could hear it over the music, and the band stopped playing, and it was just quiet. And
Wow.
did anybody know? Like, was he okay? Because
That
he
was-
went to the hospital
that was
for
the drummer
sure.
for Fallen Archaea, and if I'm not mistaken, he took one day off and he played the show the day after that.
Man, the sound that made.
Yeah.
I thought for sure, like I was not.
I
okay.
had went earlier, and I don't think I was in the venue for when it happened, or I had left for whatever reason.
Right.
And yeah, the stuff that I heard about that
Wow.
was like, I don't even know if we even had shows there anymore, because I think that one might have been like the last.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you,
Mhm.
you know?
What was that? What was that venue before and
It was a pool
after?
hall.
Is that what it was?
Before then, it was a pool hall, and a lot of people were just because everyone had told me. I'd never went there, but people were like, yeah, Baja was a pool hall, blah blah blah. After that, excuse me, while it was going on, and afterwards, it was a teen nightclub.
Oh
It
yeah.
was one of those foam pit kind of.
Yeah, white
yeah.
party kind of
That's so
shit.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of good for the scene because there was no booze there, so it was
Right.
you didn't have
Mhm.
to worry about age limit ever.
Right.
Yeah.
And it had a couple pool tables and stuff. It had a lot of really good potential.
Mhm.
The
Man,
stage
this-
could have been a little bit higher.
The ceiling was
sound
so high.
fucking
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah. Well, it was such
Sound
it was such a
trash.
tall room.
Yeah. But it had a
Mhm.
back VIP area. You could go chilling and stuff like that. So
It had
I
like
remember-
hard floors too, which
yeah,
is
the
like
hardwood floors.
yeah.
Yeah, not carpet.
Well, no,
Yeah.
not carpet. Not
No, but I
carpet,
mean, like
yeah,
some venues
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
carpet in some places, and you're like,
yeah,
oof.
yeah, it's like
stained
it's
ass,
Yeah,
like
it's
that,
sticky.
like,
It's like
oh,
gum.
yeah.
You're like your shoes
Yeah.
stick to it.
Yeah.
It's like this is a movie theater. What am I doing?
What's
in
going
here?
on here? Yeah.
Where are my slippers?
Yeah. But anyway, so after Baja went away,
There was a DIY around that area at that
Baja
time
and,
too.
and DIY came up, and DIY
Yeah.
was the bee's knees because that was the all ages venue. And the biggest thing with the Fox is the Shane was never not willing to do any of these shows. It was always just had to be 19 plus.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we had a show fail when fucking Sean Dickhead
Yeah.
booked the show, forgot to book the venue. Everyone showed up to the venue for our EP release, and then there was no venue. Nobody was at the venue to work it.
It created
What?
it
Yeah.
created the greatest show ever though.
Oh, was that the garage?
That was the
The
garage show.
garage
Jay
show?
Ham's garage show.
Yeah.
Which,
Wow.
by the way, I just gave fucking. I had just given Miller and them that PA.
Yeah.
That PA from Jesse's garage
Right.
has went through us and served us for 10 years, and now it has made its way on.
I'm
It's a good
so
tool, yeah.
bad with technology, man.
Well, sometimes that's like the helpful thing too, right? Like sometimes restrictions make things like you just need enough, like to know enough, and then that's good. You can-
Yeah, I mean, for me, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Kent was saying, like, we've been trying to write new stuff and put new stuff out, but he's like, you should just get, a program and then
Get an
record
interface
yourself.
and Reaper,
But for me, just like, that doesn't interest me enough.
Yes.
it's work. It's a fair bit of work, man.
It's not even like the amount of work too, but it's just I feel like I'd rather just go to somebody so then it doesn't take away the fun for me.
yeah.
I've
You don't
seen
wanna
I've
have
seen
to have
that.
that. Yeah, yeah,
I've seen recording take away the fun of music for people, and that makes me nervous. Do you feel that at all?
As someone who has tried and failed multiple times with audio recording and on programs and stuff like that, I 100% get
Yeah.
it. Because exactly that. If what you're doing doesn't quite translate into the program the way you want it to because you're not using the program appropriately, you don't know exactly how to work all the stuff.
You
It
get frustrated.
You're very frustrated, and it ruins your creative
Mhm.
your creative flow. The biggest thing we've always talked about for writing and stuff like that, and even just creation, is ease of accessibility. You want everything to be
Right.
right there as soon as you can have it, so you have the least amount of buffer between your original idea and how you're getting it recorded
Right.
and translated to the wide thing, or
Yeah.
at least getting it started, kind of thing. And that's a really tough thing when it comes to recording, is to have it just set up and ready to go where you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it takes a fair bit of work. Granted, Alex put in a lot of work to know how to do everything really well and stuff like that. I can barely set up my stuff at home with Reaper and get a mic going. I know how to do it because I failed enough times that I can do something as simple as that,
Mhm.
I can't do drum tracking. Some guitar stuff might sound like crap. it's not that hard at the end of the day. When you're trying to actually hear back what you're doing and stuff, it's tough. But when you don't have it in a comfortable state, it really does affect your creativity. So I completely agree with you on that. Yeah,
it's starting to sound like there's a lot of similarities between like you and Shane and like
Uh-oh.
me and Kent, right?
well, and that's also, but that's
crazy.
This also comes from the guitar side of stuff. Like
Maybe.
we've talked about that
Yeah.
before. Alex got into music because he loves creating music, and he loves creating it first and performing it second.
Right.
Mhm.
I love performing it first and creating it second. I create to perform. He creates and then gets to perform.
Right.
It's second.
I feel you on that.
Yeah. And,
That,
and
like,
maybe that's just
Yeah.
us as
Wow. This is
vocalists,
crazy.
too.
Yeah. No, it is. It's,
Because that's
good point.
That's
That's a
very
good
much
point.
a vocalist point of view. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, as shitty as it sounds, like we're very self-centered and egotistical in a way, and we want to be the center of attention to an extent, and we want to be that main voice out there. There's lots of times where I've like, maybe I'll play guitar, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd be that happy with somebody else doing main vocals up there in front of me. And you know what I mean? I hear how Alex is pissed all the time that no one tells him that he has a good set.
Not pissed. No.
You know what I mean? He's like, nobody fucking tells me I have a good set.
I don't
You
care.
and J Bones every show are fucking like,
that
"You guys are
sounds like
amazing."
him. That's
Fucking God.
But,
he does have a deep
I'm
voice
not
like
so
that.
salty.
Like-
Yo, I'm cutting this shit out. Fuck.
No, you're not.
But in the most honest sense of it, there is that little bit of us that like we do enjoy that side of it. You know what I mean? Maybe it comes from me being an only child and not getting as much attention throughout the years as I maybe would have wanted and stuff like that, or whatever bullshit might be, and whatever it might be in your life and stuff like that. But there is a certain level of that sense of being a vocalist, and the reason you write is to perform and to get out there and maybe have a little more glory and have the affection rather than to just create something that's great.
Fair.
Not that creating something great doesn't feel as good with me as it does with Alex, but I feel more stoked about it because then I get to go show everybody afterwards. I'm like,
Right.
look how great we did. Now that sounds really egotistical. now that
Now that you put it that way.
Now that I really say it like that, but like it is, we got into music because we enjoyed creating it and we thought we were good at it and we had something good to showcase. So to an extent, we all have a bit of an ego when it comes to music because we think we can do it as good or better than other bands that are out there and doing it to that capacity, right?
Yeah.
As much as we want to showcase the music and stuff, we want to showcase ourselves. And especially earlier on in the career, you're really out there to prove something. I know most bands earlier in their years are out there to prove stuff, and there's a little bit of maybe scene beef and stuff like that before you realize we're all the same dudes and we're in the same scene. Just like when you grow up and you kind of get with your group of friends in high school because that's the same music you listen to.
Right.
Once you get into the music scene and you see all those different bands, they're all just like you. They're just that's their group dynamic. It's slightly different than yours because they were all hanging out together and had a little different experience. But bands are bands,
Let's get juicy here. Did you guys ever have any band beef? I want to. I don't think we
Real
ever.
band beef? No.
I don't think so,
I don't think we
no.
did. We did.
I don't think there was
The
anything.
only real band beef I would say is not so much band beef, but it's more so a scene divide that was between the older hardcore kids that were a couple years older than us when we first got in the scene and stuff. There was a lot of douchebaggery. And that happens
like
a lot.
hate moshing
Great.
A lot of
became
hate
normal.
moshing,
Great
a lot of
word.
stupid shit that was happening at shows that was really degrading the quality of shows for the average fan.
Right.
The people who are spending money, the people who are there to enjoy the music and not so much for the social aspect of I'm here with all my buddies kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
Which is, and super honest, that was a lot of bands and it was a lot of close people that were with bands. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They were doing stupid shit, starting fights, breaking shit and stuff like that. So, I mean, if any hardcore scene kids are hating on me for this afterwards, you can't lie to me that wasn't honest. All right?
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'll look right at the camera and say there's a lot of stupid shit that happened from the hardcore scene earlier on in the Barry scene years. There's a reason why Shane Heath fucking said fuck it for a lot of those kind of shows and stuff like that. And the reason why a lot of that moshing was frowned upon later on in the Fox years is because it really degraded the show. No chick wants to get fucking punched in the head while she's having a couple drinks
Even
out
by
there.
accident.
Yeah, and not only that, you're fucking up the chance for the dude who might be trying to bang that chick and have a good time.
Oh my goodness.
Like
Oh my
super
goodness.
honest. Like let's be honest how a bar works. Like, dudes go there to have a couple drinks, enjoy their time, and maybe meet a cute girl.
Were you? Maybe this is like. Okay, so this might be something that you can, if it's not appropriate, you can cut out. But were you guys at the show? At the Fox when you remember you were saying it was the back
Side
wall
stage, yeah.
Side stage. Were you there for the one show? I forget who played it, but a guy threw a beer at Chris, or the bottle landed beside him.
I don't think was it when he was on stage.
Yeah,
No. No.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
remember
I
that.
mean, that kind of just like touches in back on what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But and then like Bambi, but we didn't really have any. But this is a funny. It's a true story.
Yeah.
Now I don't remember the name of the band, and I don't remember the name of the guy. Man. So we were playing, and I guess a guy had drank his last bottle of beer and threw it at either me or Chris or somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it, but it had landed beside Chris's drum kit, and we just continued playing. And then after the show, Chris told me about it, and the glass bottle sitting beside his drum kit, and that our friend had seen it. They kind of got in a bit of a tiff, and they both got kicked out. So they had told me what the guy looked like. So of course I went outside to find him, and he wasn't there. So I come back in, and you know how there was the back door?
Yep.
Well, sure enough, he came walking in the back door, and there was no one in the venue, right? Everyone had left. And this guy's walking around asking, who punched me in the face? 'Cause I guess the guy we live with.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luke Steele.
Hey.
Just saw the guy do it and punched him in the face, so they got in a bit of a tiff. Well, this guy walks in asking, who
did it?
who did it?
Yeah.
So I walk right up to him with my buddy Rob, and I'm getting pretty excited about this. And I just said, "Hey man, I don't know, but did you throw a beer at our drummer?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, so what if I did?" And I
Oh,
remember my
God.
buddy standing between us, just dropped his arms and was like, poor guy. And this kid, without getting too descriptive, he got, I gave him what he
just got laid
deserved
anyway.
for
As well
for
he
a
should.
while.
He
And
really should.
He won't throw another beer.
Never again.
here's the story. This is where it gets funny.
Oh, shit.
He got kicked out. He was all bloodied up, and Shane bought me a drink because he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
He was like, "What was that? Like, that was crazy. Like, calm down." And I just explained to him, what had happened, and it's not cool. You shouldn't be doing that. But the story goes further than this. So we ended up playing Wakestock that summer because this
Okay.
was a
Yeah,
winter.
yeah.
This was a winter show, so it had to happen. Who
I
knows?
remember that way.
There was snow on the ground, so we're talking like November to January, February, right? And then Wakestock's in the summer, and we're setting up, and we're back behind like this big stage, and this kid keeps looking at me, and it's really creeping me out.
Yeah.
And he's kind of doing this whole thing, and I was like, "Is everything all right?" Like you keep kind of
You good, bro? Yeah.
keep looking at me really weird, and he's like, "Are you Steve
Yeah.
Dunford?" And I said, "Yeah." And he went, "Oh man, you beat the crap out of me." And I was like, "I would never do that. Like,
I don't know.
Like, who are you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I threw the beer at you." And I was like, "Oh, I totally did." And he,
You're like, that doesn't sound. Oh yeah, that was
yeah.
me.
And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that was totally me." And we just kind of stood and looked at each other. But what you said is he literally reached out, shook my hand, and he said, "I was a total idiot." And I said, "Cool, we're fine then."
Good,
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
said, I'll never throw a beer at someone."
Oh man.
Fuck yeah.
And I really
Sometimes
I
you
didn't
gotta
want to
put in your
get
place,
descriptive
yeah.
about it, but he got
Yeah.
put in his place
the
pretty,
next day,
pretty
he was
good.
really rethinking his fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and as he should though. But like that was,
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest like band.
the fact
beef
that he
we
made
had.
it, the fact that he even made it that long and shit like that he only got one
That's
punch beforehand and made it back into the venue is surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the amount of I've heard of people in the last year getting dragged out of the Fox for doing stupid shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
well, he did the second time, so
yeah.
he probably shouldn't have came back.
Shouldn't have came
Yeah.
back.
But,
Should've
but
learned
the
your
moral of the
lesson, yeah.
story isn't about me.
Right.
This is
It's about don't do stupid stuff at a show, and like you were saying,
and you're not
Yeah.
going to be accepted. Yeah,
and
whether you get the shit kicked out of you, you just get kind of blacklisted from the
Yeah.
venue, or you kinda
yeah,
get
it's
pushed to the
unnecessary.
side.
you know.
Unnecessary to do stupid shit at a show where there's lots of people there for a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that if it wasn't that show, it was a show where you guys had played that side stage,
Mhm.
and we were friends at the time, and I remember I was there having a bunch of drinks and stuff like that, blah blah, and he called me on stage and fucking we were doing vocals. And I don't know, whatever reason, I still remember to this day, we were both standing there doing vocals side by side, and these girls were just feeling us up the whole time. I can remember it. For
I think
this,
that had a lot
to
to
this
do with you.
fucking
I
day,
think
man,
that
I was. I don't know why, but I just remember them, and then we had a
Wow.
laugh. But
That
Good
gave him
times.
that
Good
gave him
times.
enough energy for like 4 more years.
it's still in my spank bank to this
Yeah.
day, bro. Don't remember what they looked like. I just remember the feeling.
He can never top what,
Good Lord.
what another band has.
Good
brought in.
Lord. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember that, but you
I don't know
you
what
do.
show it was. It was
Yeah.
It might have been the Legia Tour one. Did you play that?
Legia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you play that show?
dope.
Yeah.
And then I remember there
right
was a
before
show-
the Rise played that.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
they called me up to do guest vocals on that.
Good band. Good
Oh,
band.
Dave
Yeah.
Edney. That's my
Yeah,
boy.
Good band.
Yeah.
Legia's a good band too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have their bass player Brandon on Facebook still because I was in Kitchener and I met them and I shot the shit with them and stuff like that. And
Where are they from?
They're from the States.
I thought they were
actually.
from like Detroit or something.
Yeah, Boston. or
Like a
Detroit
north,
or
a
something.
northern
they-
state.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many bands made it this way that are from the States.
Right in that
Yeah.
little area.
Like the Ghost Inside played the Native Friendship Center.
Yeah.
what?
Well, even
yeah.
Northlane played, and the Contortionists played there.
Isn't that
before.
crazy to think?
Friendship or a
Yeah.
DIY?
DIY. Sorry. Yeah.
DIY. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
I swear that
But maybe-
the Ghost Inside played the Native Friendship Center. There was a poster somebody had.
Wow.
I-
eh?
Yeah, how crazy
I
is that?
totally believe
They weren't very
that.
big. They weren't very big
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally believe that with them. Like they were like crazy on tour all
Yeah.
the time.
Well, and then we were also in that big heyday too, where all those bands were still in their like first albums of touring, right?
Yeah.
We were getting a lot of those packages because the scene could afford $1,000 to $1,500 tour package of stuff. Excuse me, that was coming from out of town. That was
Yeah,
a
but
legit
now
tour.
it's like ridiculous, right?
Not.
Yeah.
Dude. Granted, Jill is doing a fantastic job.
Oh, she's
The
great.
capacity just hasn't really been there to do the big show calibers that we want to do without jacking up the ticket price to a stupid.
Yeah, and it's
You know what I
also
mean?
like the demographic. Like
Well,
we aren't in a big city. You know what I mean? And this type of music that we play
Yeah.
isn't necessarily like everybody's
No.
jam. So
Like it's tough because the stuff that we could bring in that would be big enough, quote unquote, for Mavericks wouldn't draw because it's Barrie and it wouldn't fill up Mavericks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's very much.
Are you talking about Ottawa?
No. Here in Barrie, there's a Mavericks here in Barrie.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
It's where the Roxy used to be.
you know Mavericks in Ottawa though, yeah.
I
Yeah.
know of it. I've never played.
You never played it?
No.
never.
Every time we play Ottawa, I think we did Leaky Bees.
What about Cafe de Cuff? Do you ever play that one? No,
Doesn't
you're,
sound
you're
familiar.
lucky. That was
It
like
sounds
you
very
had to
familiar
go
to
like up
me.
a bunch of stairs.
Oh,
Sucked.
no.
Not for me.
Okay,
I
we
just had a
wouldn't
microphone.
I
see.
Fuck you, dude. I
Yeah,
always had to carry those
Chris is
calves.
probably like, he
was
would just give me
pitched in.
these looks sometimes. Like, ah.
Yeah. Like
So
my
you're-
back.
So you're the reason for the meme. You know what? Everyone gives me shit. I helped out all the damn time.
I definitely helped out. I didn't just like, let them
Yeah.
do it all
That's
themselves.
why my goddamn back
But
is
yeah,
broke.
once the cabs started coming out and the bass drum, you're like, nope,
Yeah.
I gotta poop.
Oh no, I gotta warm up. I never did.
Yeah.
Warm up.
I never did that. I never did that.
I got to find an excuse. All right, bye.
No. Gotta hit the van.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
So what was one of the best show experiences that you think you've had? Whether it be like maybe a little rip on the road or something like that, or what was the best? What was one of the best? I guess say not like the best, but what's some things that come to mind for you?
Well, just like some of the bands that we toured with. There was a band called the Red Threat. They were from Edmonton.
I remember them. Yeah,
I believe
yeah,
it was
yeah.
Edmonton.
Pop
They're-
punk, right?
Yeah,
A little bit
a
heavier.
little more alternative.
Okay,
even,
yeah.
but like really, really nice dudes.
I do
and,
remember them. Yeah.
They were actually called Sharks before they had to change their name to We Were Sharks.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're still going too.
Yeah,
Fucking
Randy's a
Matty
really
plays
nice
bass
guy.
for them. Our buddy
Yeah.
Matt Sears plays bass for that band.
Oh
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. They there's some good memories and stuff like that.
Remember
But
we
Yeah.
played that Halloween show with them.
Oh yeah.
oh, was it that at the Native Friendship
Native
Center?
They had the best costumes.
Yes, and they came as Super Mario.
Yeah.
We did South Park, and I had that
Right.
Tally costume on.
And we were
Yeah.
we were like Motley Crue type.
Yes, you did
Yeah.
hair metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
hot.
That was
Like not like
Yeah.
not like sexy hot. That was
Yeah.
just
Not like,
it was
girls
temperature
very warm.
really
Not like
warm.
girls reaching up on you.
Yeah, not like this guy's.
not spank bank hot.
Yeah, not
Spank
this
Well,
guy's.
I mean,
Yeah.
that leather's.
I
pretty
think I had
tight.
leather pants. They
Yeah.
were way too hot.
That's
Yeah.
spank bank material.
Oh god.
Sharks was super
Yeah.
dope.
Anyways, yeah, Red Threat.
But
Sure,
really, I think it was. I don't recall if it was still the Foundation or if it was the Mansion, but it's the same venue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the shows that we played there, I always really liked, just because of like how big the crowds were.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Rob Cripps and Matt Kiegelman, because
Yeah.
they were the only reasons that we got on those shows. And we just listened to Matt, and he was like, "Listen, I'll put you on these bigger shows, but don't play, in the city or in Barrie rather. Like,
Yeah.
So,
appropriate 2 months.
yeah,
2 months
every
ago, which
two-
is what
every-
most people should be doing in general.
yeah, every
Yeah.
2 to 3 months, he would just be like, "Do you want on this?" and the bands were huge. Like Protest the Hero, we opened for Il Scarlet the one time.
Yeah.
Right.
I think. Do you remember Vanna?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I remember being at that show.
Did we open for them? I'm almost positive we did.
It would make sense.
I think so, because I remember Vanna played and Maylene played that night too.
We did, yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
Maylene, bro.
Yeah.
Woo!
And the
Too
dudes from
excited.
the guitar player from Vanna was so
Wait,
nice.
did Maylene play that night?
Pretty sure. Because I remember
I don't
watching
know,
them and being like, I don't know if they
I
were
feel like
tired,
I
a little
wouldn't have
underwhelmed.
Okay, so I remember going out to a car and having drinks with two chicks because they were making out in front of me all night, and they were like, "You want to come have a drink in the car?" And I'm like, "Well, fuck yeah, I want to go have a drink in the car." You know what I mean? And I remember either missing some of Vanna or missing some of Maylene, but I feel like Maylene wouldn't have came to Barry. I would have been.
I swear
I
they
would have
did.
been stupid enough to
No,
miss
dude, I
Maylene.
swear they did.
I
Yeah.
really hope I wasn't stupid enough. to
I
miss
swear
Maylene
they
like
did,
that.
I can't talk on the topic, man.
No?
I honestly don't remember.
Any scene OGs, has Maylene and the Sons of Disaster been through Barry at the
Comment.
Foundation or Mansion? I know for a fact that they
swear.
played Warped Tour here in Barry because that was the very first Warped Tour I ever went to.
Warped Tour was in. Oh no, it was Wilson
Yeah,
Park.
at Park Place.
Yeah,
Yeah, good time.
That was like now it's
that's
a
a
parking
real
lot where
OG.
you can go buy.
And
Yeah.
the worst part
Just,
is too is like after
that's
all
sad.
that time, it's only been 1/4 developed.
Yeah.
It's that's just really sad to me that it was
It's
such a great
so
venue.
bad.
I remember one summer, it was like the last summer of like high school before I was going off to college, and my buddy Adam and April and I think Kyle Meredith and a couple other people, we all drove from Newmarket down to watch Green Day and Jimmy Eat World open, and I just remembered it was just a pivotal time.
What a time. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's such a good venue. And then they had a few of the Warped Tours, and it was great.
good stuff. I can remember.
And now it's a parking lot.
Now it's fucking nothing.
I've never been to Warped Tour.
Oh no! Uh oh!
Not even
Oh,
one
here
time.
we go.
So this Warped Tour,
Too
that
good
one
for
that I
it?
went to,
No, just never ended up going.
Why?
especially for living around here in Barrie too. Like,
Well, I was because I think the last one was like when I was in grade 8 or something.
True.
And so like I never really went to
Oh,
concerts.
yeah,
I was
I
still
was
like
gonna
super.
say.
I was still young, and I was like, I think I was going to go to it like at that time because I was still just kind of like, getting it, but I hadn't had my feet wet enough in concerts where I felt
Yeah.
like super comfortable. Like, let's
Yeah.
make Warped Tour the one.
yeah,
Even now,
yeah.
like to be honest,
Warped
even
Tour's
now,
a lot of
like
work.
festivals, I'm like, ugh. I
Yeah.
kind of just like cringe at the idea of
Well,
like that many
if
people.
I'm gonna go to a
Yeah.
festival, what do I want to do? I want to comfortable. Well, I guess you can do that now, but I want to be able to smoke my weed whenever I want. You know what I mean? I want to be able to just lounge around and get food and all that kind of shit. Everything
Yeah.
is a giant lineup.
Yeah,
You gotta pay for so much parking and shit. Even going down to shows in the city, I avoid because I don't
going to
wanna
the
deal with
washroom. Ugh.
Mhm.
just stupid shit.
I never
you know?
want to do that.
But maybe, but
Yeah.
maybe that's because we're spoiled because we've grown up in a local scene where like we know better. We get that
Yeah.
interaction with bands. We know
Mhm.
what it could be to actually sit there and get spit on by a band while they're doing vocals. You know,
Mm-hmm.
He likes that type of.
I do. Think how many mic handoffs you give me over the years?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Good point.
That's my bread and butter, dude. Even at this age, there's some bands that I'll fucking push my way to the front. And
Give me that mic.
Elbow these 15-year-old chicks in the
Yeah.
fucking temple and make my space, bro. That's my mic handoff. I'm still living it up. One scream at a time.
That's incredible.
He'll always be an
That-
18-year-old.
that is
man.
good. Yeah,
it's
like
just
there's
some
just something
bands that
about
I
it.
can't
You're a
help it,
wild.
man.
You're a wild man.
Yep.
It's just
Never lose it.
that's the other thing. The weird part, the difference too. Like for me as a vocalist, when I go to a show and I see stuff, if I'm like, granted, everyone loves singing and screaming along to stuff like that, but like I went and saw Eated and I performed pretty much their whole set along with them.
Yeah.
Because like I love Eated, I knew every bit. I can sing and scream everything, so I did it. You know what I mean? And it was like I remember seeing them one time and being like in the front area in the pit, and that was cool and fine. And I remember being back and just chilling on my own when I was like 3 or 4 years later, kind of
Right.
thing. Didn't want to be in the hell of it because I was like, I'm fucking tired. I just want to enjoy Eated.
Mhm.
And I remember being at the back and singing and screaming along, and getting like weird looks and stuff like that. Because it's like
Yeah.
all the hardcore people that are diehards
Which I've
are in
always thought
front.
strange because like I remember like being like front row for certain concerts like Chiodos and stuff like that. But like I don't know if it was just an age thing, but like the more I was involved with music, the more the shows I went to,
Mhm.
I wanted to sit back and listen.
You
Because when you're at the
haven't-
front, you don't get to hear
it's
that
about
well.
the,
Yeah.
it's about the energy and the experience. And after you
Yeah.
actually develop as a band, you want to
hear
the
what's
music.
happening.
You
Yeah.
won't- yeah. And then it's
Take it
also-
all in a
you
little
realize
more,
that
right?
that front stage is not a great spot for
It's
any
so
sound.
so bad.
It's so
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
And the next day it's just like ringing.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know
Yeah.
how many shows that I stand at, or even just venues and stuff, where I'm actually like, I'm just gonna go by the sound booth because I know
Yeah,
that's what
that's
he hears,
exactly
so I'm
like
just gonna-
you.
I'm gonna go
yeah.
listen to what he's listening
You
to.
stand right where they
Yeah.
are. That's the golden ticket.
That's the
Right?
golden
He knows.
ticket,
Look
yeah.
at him.
Yeah.
Dude, always at the back.
Always by
No,
the
I'm
man
just joking,
working
man. The
floors.
front-
You
the
little
front's-
wallflower.
No, the front's actually really super fun though. But yeah, always wear earplugs because I've definitely fucked that up. a
Do's and
lot.
don'ts.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, definitely wear earplugs. If you are a little PSA to any musicians out there, if you are at shows playing in a band on a significant basis, or you are just attending shows, at concerts, a couple times a year and stuff, invest in medical earplugs. I don't know where mine are.
From an audiologist.
Like, there's a place here in town called Helix Ear
Yeah,
Care,
they take a
whatever.
mold.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do an actual mold of your ear, and they put actual filters in that are different decibel reducers.
Yeah.
So I think mine are 17s. You can get 17s, 25s.
Did you ever play with them in?
All I do.
I hated it for.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
So
you get used to it then. Yeah.
the problem with the orange foam is they cut out low bass frequencies. You can't hear a kick at
Right.
all. So if you're following drums, you are fucked. You're absolutely
I
fucked.
love that part
Yeah.
about it.
Um,
Just like, fucking mids. I just
There's-
want mids.
The only issue with that though is like if the sound guys, the
Shit.
sound guy's
You're
terrible. Yeah. Hey, did you? I don't even care. I'm going on the record on this one.
Put them out there.
Johnny G.
Oh my!
Do you remember
God.
Johnny G? I don't know
Maybe.
why, but like when I say Johnny G and you know who I'm talking about,
Mm.
I just picture Kurt Hamlet. Is it
Yeah.
Kurt Hamlet from?
Yeah.
That's just who I picture.
Metallica,
Yeah, it's just
fucking-
exactly who I picture.
Yeah,
It's
that-
what he looked like, or maybe he was trying.
It was
Right.
the
To
hair,
look
dude.
like that.
It was the long hair with the wave.
The
ringlets.
tight,
yeah.
tight curls.
Tight curl, yeah.
Dude, he did have some sick hair.
It's the only
Classic,
good thing about him.
But you know what? When you picture him though, you picture him holding like a Jackson with a Floyd Rose with tiger stripes on it,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe I just picture him. I picture him holding a BC Rich.
Oh my God.
That's just me. Like a really tacky
Don't do the man that much
polyurethane,
disrespect.
like so much
Jesus Christ.
polyurethane.
Oh my god.
Like
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. You can't even search Johnny G and find him on the internet. So like, who's
He's
winning
just-
now?
Did
He
you
gave
just
up,
look
man.
him up?
His name is John Guerrero.
Jeanne G.
Oh, see,
John
yeah, I don't know how to
Guerrero.
search for it.
Yeah, you need to find the umlauts
Oh
or the
my God.
accents or whatever. Jeanne.
Oh,
Over the
man.
O.
Yeah, man, this is good times.
Good times indeed. Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, and we've had a lot of good times together too. We played a lot of good shows together
Mhm.
over the years and stuff. I had tons of
Have
stuff
we
at the
even played together ever?
Native Friendship Center a bunch of times. We played some stuff at the. Oh,
Yeah, you definitely did.
have we?
Yeah. For sure.
I feel like we've had
For
to,
sure.
right?
I
Come on.
honestly don't think so.
Not the new
What?
venue.
Yeah.
Not the new venue.
No way.
Maybe the old venue though.
Are you
There-
sure?
Yeah,
so there
I just want to say
there
like,
was a
you
time
had a different crowd. Like it was
earlier
always.
on though. We did play with you guys a lot in the early years of you know what I mean?
I don't think so, man.
I swear.
I do
I
think so.
swear.
No, because I think you guys
Maybe
were
it's-
bigger by the time
Maybe
that
it's
we
just
started.
because I did vocals with you guys so much that
Mm.
it felt that way.
Yeah, I honestly don't think we've ever had a bill together. Yeah.
Wow, it makes me
Well,
sad.
Well,
he's,
yeah.
he's wrong because we played the Halloween show. Guaranteed
Oh,
we
yeah,
played that Halloween
that
show.
one. Okay, right. But that's
I
like
feel like there was at least
maybe
one
it.
or two
He's
others. Man.
he rolls his eyes that one.
right,
that one.
that one
Yeah.
epic show.
Yeah,
All
like-
right.
It's not
Frag.
That was the
that one
show-
show that Johnny G did sound for.
That was- that
So no one
Halloween
could
show.
hear
I learned
anything.
what pulling the trigger was.
How do you mean? What?
So
Like
they
for the
get-
drum kit?
No. So the guys in Sharks, one of them felt like he had to puke, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta puke. I don't feel like shit. I don't have to puke." And it was after they played, and they were all, had some drinks, and they were overheated.
You remember this?
So they were
No.
out back, and you know how the stage was fucking there, and then there was the door out back.
Yeah.
So he was leaning over the edge. The guy's like, "Oh, don't worry, bro. I'll pull with you. I'll pull the trigger." And that was the first time I've ever seen anybody or know about someone and sticking a finger down their throat and making themselves throw up.
Oh wow.
I'd
okay.
never heard about it until then.
I
And
just
then
never heard about it
watched
till
this guy
now.
make himself
Yeah,
puke, and
I
I was
know.
like, "Oh my god!" And yeah,
It's pretty
that was
heavy.
the first time
So
I ever
was
run-
so the guy
Wow.
who felt like he was gonna puke did it, or just some random?
no, his buddy. He
Just
didn't
did-
want him to puke by himself.
Oh,
He was like,
Solidarity,
just
man.
kind of like
That's
Eddie and
am-
Liam would do. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, I'm not gonna make you all. Now we're
That's-
both puking. Yeah,
There's some camaraderie.
it was
wow.
good shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, never ditch that.
that was the very first
bandmate,
time I
man.
learned that you could just.
Don't ever expect me to do
do
that.
No, we're all gonna pull the trigger out.
Like you said, I can't do it. I tried
Yeah.
just now.
Don't ever expect me to do that.
No,
It's not gonna happen.
no, man.
Oh,
Doesn't mean
Puking's
I
not
don't
good
love
for
you. I'm just not gonna do it.
Puking's just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you guys were supposed to have a Vegas show here on the 24th, does that mean you guys have more in the works for Vegas in the future? Or is it just
Yeah.
like knew you were in town, so you're gonna play another show because the last one was good?
No, we column A, column B. Last show was good, but we've just been talking about wanting to write something else and do some more. So we've actually been working on it, but life has kind of gone
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it back to
Everybody's
the
at a
original?
standstill.
off kilter for everyone,
For
right?
sure, yeah.
Mhm.
Is it back to the original lineup? You, Andy, Chris, and Ken.
Yeah, I mean, we want Cody on
Cool.
guitar now.
Yeah.
If he's down for it, just because he's such a good dude.
What's
And
Cody's last name again?
Mesky, I believe.
right.
I was gonna say
I could be
Mills.
pronouncing it
I thought
wrong,
Mills,
but
yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
I don't think I am.
Yeah, I remember him. I've only even seen him play with the band once or twice.
Super nice dude.
Yeah.
Super talented guy.
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
he's
he
really
shreds.
good at
Yeah.
guitar.
Cool.
Just Ontario in general, I think it's
Right.
just it's slowly becoming, maybe
Yeah.
time to come back to.
Access to family and friends. right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big
Is that
thing.
it?
While still
That's
having your own
it's a
freedom.
giant thing.
Yeah.
Well, you made such a name for yourself in the tattoo world. You can pretty much tattoo anywhere. Is that kind of the idea?
I hope that's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
You never know till you try.
yeah,
I guess,
yeah. I
but
come
yeah.
back here and everyone's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Is the shop that you work with out in BC not one that you started?
So I had my own and I sold like the rights to my half. I sold
Okay.
my shares.
Yeah.
I still own the rights to the name and everything like that. So I just kind of been sitting on the back burner with that. And
Why
you get like
why-
royalties or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Why keep the rights to the name? What's the business move there?
well, I created it,
Fair.
and
Yeah, yeah.
I created the branding and everything for
Mhm.
it. So it's all done in case I need to pull something out of my pocket.
Mm.
There's just
What does that mean, though?
Well, there's just been talks with a few friends about like do I open my own or do I
Over
work?
on this side of stuff, and then you
Yeah.
have your own branch over here. You have
Yeah.
a BC branch. You have an Ontario branch.
Well, the BC one like is it's sold. So like
Mm.
You have nothing to do with it besides owning the name.
They had to switch the name.
So they took the location and the quote unquote company
the
changed
brick
the
and
name.
mortar.
Yeah.
So you still just own the rights to. You got paid out for the company itself, and you just own the rights to the name. So you can do whatever you want with the name afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, what is it?
I thought they were still using the name, and you have that like
Oh God, no.
hanging over them a little
No,
bit. It's
no,
like,
no.
You've got the company, but I've got your balls.
Yeah, that would
You
be
know what I mean?
awkward for everyone.
That's why I was like, that's why I
Yeah,
was digging
yeah.
a little. I was like, what's the play there? Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
okay,
awkward
cool.
for everyone.
Yeah, so it's really just like essentially if I had the rights to the Lost Light name, and these guys wanted to continue as a band, and they just changed the name and stuff, and I still have the name if I want to keep going.
Yeah.
They would just have to rebrand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not that that's,
Yeah.
but just in the
So
idea.
what's going on here, guys?
Lost Light is dead.
Yeah.
All right.
no,
Oh wow. All
Yeah,
right.
we're actually not a band.
No.
We're doing this stuff because this is what's keeping us going in the
Creative,
music
yeah.
scene. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Cool. I like it.
and it's fun because we've just otherwise there's no other reason to talk about this stuff, and we have lots of knowledge.
Well,
so-
do you feel like personally, like when I was talking to the guys, and I was like, I'm not done yet. Like I have
Yeah.
more to say. I have more to write and more to play.
Mhm.
Do you ever feel that way with
Probably.
with what you're doing and with what you're doing? Do you feel like you have a little bit more in the
man,
gas tank, or
I definitely don't have the time to do it as like a band, like a business.
Right.
And that's
takes so
where-
much out of you,
yeah,
right?
That,
That's
yeah,
where it
that's
comes-
exactly
what it
right. That
comes
was the
down to.
biggest thing for us.
Yeah.
I think we dove so deep into it that we know the type of professionality that needs to come out of it if we want to take it seriously.
Right, and it's
and no matter
all
what work,
consuming, right?
It really is,
Yep.
yeah. And to be honest, a lot of that work is on Alex because he has all the talent and skills to do a lot of that. So
I have all the talent. You hear that?
Wait, can
Well-
you say that again?
I need that sound bite.
I need to hear that.
Pre-pro, the whole last album, Alex. Graphic design, visual aspects, Alex. He shot our music videos. He did all that kind of stuff.
Well done.
The writing, Alex, you know what I mean? He programmed a lot of the drums. Aaron went in and edited them after. Most of the riffs are Alex. Eddie worked on some stuff in that, wrote it as well. What else?
Yeah.
What else is there? I came up with a name,
but that's all.
Like-
That's all the stuff that we like, having to like keep on top of things and like post all that content, like get out there and be all in front of everybody. Like I can't do that. Then plus work on my personal.
It takes
brand
so
and-
much. Yeah.
It's about focusing on one proper business on social media.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate in the sense of my career that I can kind of do whatever I want, and
It's a different type of art art showcasing, right? You're physically working. The difference, I think, too, is a little bit you're getting. Not that I say want to put this in a negative, but you're getting paid by the hour for your art,
right?
Like you're genuinely like, here's a genuine value of what my art is worth, and everyone who comes to me has to pay that amount to get that kind of thing. Well, granted, there's lots of good friends that don't have to pay that because they get the benefit, but you know what I mean? A general person has to pay X amount for that kind of quality. I guess the same way that they would come to Alex and say, if I want a video, they have to pay X amount of quality.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not established.
Not
right?
as established and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's getting there.
But
So once I am, then maybe I'll look at doing
the
another
approach
band
is
thing.
still there, though, right?
Yeah.
The professional approach is still there. So and you've developed your skill where it is something that you like. He genuinely here's the value in it, right? So
yeah, within that, I mean, I don't work for anyone, so I do have the time to put into music and stuff like that. Where the other guys probably don't.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying like I'm not done, but they're like, man, maybe they're like I'm done.
And
well, see, that's the thing is too. Like, I would have the time. Like, I do have the time, but I'm using that for my own personal brand.
Yeah.
So that's what's taking it.
yeah,
from the
because
band.
it's
So
not,
selfish.
he's also,
I
he's
know,
working
right?
on
Just
on the
kidding.
professional
Yeah.
stuff, but then you also have your YouTube page that you're developing that doesn't generate any income.
Yeah.
Lots of work, no income, right? So
That's my band right now.
That is
is
the
Right.
band,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
just like
But-
SGS is my band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
like
long play, but like they will all be able to feed back into each other. I'm sure that I have tons of people from the network that I've created over the years in the band that I have now worked into my network of like my YouTube page and all that, and Shane, same thing.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you're gonna build a further network from this new niche, and then bring it all back in. Again, if we start a new band or do a new thing with music. So
Okay, here's a question then. And I mean, don't be serious about it, because why? Okay, so you're starting a new band, right? And you're gonna call it. What are you gonna call it? Like just shooting from the hip.
Honestly,
just shoot from the hip right now.
Junk Ball.
Is that-
we never got
yes,
to do Junk Ball.
Jump ball.
So
Junk
we
Ball.
we played a couple like house parties as a 3-piece under the name Junk Ball.
Wow.
Because we had this like baseball game that was kind of like wiffle ball and kind of stuff that was called Junk Ball. Same idea as Blitz Ball.
Or
you
same
have,
thing
like-
as basketball.
No basketballs. It's like a
Basketball.
a ball with
It's a
holes in it,
wiffle
so
ball.
you can whip it and it fucking curves like crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like a plastic bat. So that was what we were like. That's our party name is Junk Ball.
All right. Okay.
We played under that a couple times.
That's what you would go with.
So
I like
one-
that.
Yeah, because that's a cool like pop punk hardcore name.
I like it.
Yeah.
More likely to pick.
For those who don't know, Alex is over there and he didn't want to set up a camera for himself, and he had to fucking bend in like an idiot.
So Junk. We've had the name Junk Ball longer than we've had the name Lost Life. for
Genuinely,
sure.
yeah. Yo, that fucking. So we played this party at Junk Ball. As Junk Ball, and this fucking drunk or high raccoon just came into the party and just started hanging out with everybody. It was like running into people's
Wow.
feet and stuff. We were just like, what the fuck? Because it's like kind of rainy and it's dark at night and you only see like random stage lights and stuff. There's this raccoon just walking around the party.
Wow.
So we assume he found like some bottle of booze or something somewhere and just got fucking cranked and was just like, ah.
Was he good by the end of the show?
No.
Did he have-
No. We let him wander off into the night. We don't know what happened to him.
No. Did he have earplugs?
No. Did not have
Jeez,
medical.
that poor guy, man.
No medical grade earplugs. Oh, I didn't even answer you though. I don't know if I have anything left in the tank that I'd want to do musically. Diving into guitar as much as I have over the last year and a half since since I've known that band's kind of taken the back burner.
Right.
You've obviously seen the Insta and everything like that. I've went crazy with buying guitars and starting to like buy and sell and fix up and stuff like
Right.
that.
I love that.
The YouTube page is developed now because I've been trying to document all that kind of process
love
and what
that.
I'm doing. your guitar was literally the video I put out yesterday and stuff like that. So
super cool.
it's something that I'm really diving deep into because I love it. And I'm kind of diving into that because I started playing guitar. You know what I mean? Like when I was learning the Holly Springs on vocals and stuff like that, like I knew how to play a lot of those stuff on guitar when I knew how to do vocals for it. So I've always been a guitar player. I've always learned all the SOS stuff on guitar. I've always tried to write riffs and get them on the album, whether they were good enough to make it or not. It's another story. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so you've always kind of had that.
So it's like there is still a little bit left in the tank for me, but I think that's because I have that desire to play guitar on stage a little bit. You know, like
cool, man.
I did play guitar on stage with a band called Antler for like 2 shows where I did some backup vocals, and that was really fun. And it's cool to step into a different aspect of the stage role and know how to do it properly because I've been through the process with Alex and I've seen him develop his pedal board and go through go through the rights and wrongs over the years and stuff like that of what you need, like, you know,
time to join it.
It's a bad time. I've seen him go from a shitty little pedal to a Boss GT
to a Line
GT10,
6 amp to a
GT10
It was a line. No, I used my first pedal was a Digitech pedal.
Digitech RP50, right?
Yeah.
That
you
one
sure
that I
you want
gave
people to know that?
I gave him an RP50 that I had since I was 16.
And I literally had to upgrade because one of the pedals broke. But I would have been happy to use that fucking multi effects my whole career.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is that your tone all came from your head.
Always.
But then you use that. Was it GT8 or GT10?
GT8.
GT8. He used that Boss GT8 exactly the way that it was meant to be used.
Through the effects loop.
And here's your bypass. Here is your delay channel. Here's a fucking filter channel, and here's a blah blah blah. And then you have your expression pedal, right? Utilize it as here's a 5 pedal stomp box that's all digital that you can change any setting you want at any point.
Yeah.
Did I love fucking playing through it when I tried to play guitar through his rig? No, I didn't know how to fucking use a stupid ass pedal. I would literally avoid his rig because I didn't know whether it should be on 6-1 or 6-2 or fucking shit like that, because it was something as simple as just changing the channels on, but I didn't know what it needed to be on for the settings.
Well, there's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Always.
And then
I'm a tinkerer, man, a total tinkerer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then you went into that big GCX foot controller with the major.
That was the worst. Now that I didn't even like. I dropped like $3,000 on like effects
and months trying to figure it out.
Do you still own it?
Yeah.
No,
it's gone.
It maybe got working fully like twice. If we went to a venue that had stairs, like you were mentioning earlier, about Cafe de Cuff, guess what? That giant fucking 6-foot thing that weighed 110 pounds never made it out of the trailer.
Right.
And it would just stay in the trailer, and he would bring up his Boss pedal because it was easier.
Yeah, it'd be like 50% of the venues, you know?
It's just ridiculous, dude, to break our back. Yeah. I remember the first time we ever tried to bring it with us, we couldn't bring it because it was too big. Because we had we actually can't bring this.
Yeah, or it's taking up too much room, and that's where you sleep.
Monster Machine?
Oh, the mystery machine. Because it was a mystery why I ever fucking bought it.
And you went through you and your dad built it really well. It was built well.
Yeah. I know. I spent so much time. I painted it and everything.
And we said, it fit his head. It fit the whole rack unit. It had a drawer for all his extra shit. All you had to do was bring a cab with him, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. So lots of time and money suck.
It might even fit the cab too. Did it fit the cab in there?
No, it didn't have the cab, but that was the next
big
step.
Enough to have a damn cabinet.
Mm-hmm. That was the next step, man.
It was so huge, it ended up in my garage for like 3 years afterwards. My parents got mad.
I literally had to take it apart to get it back. I had to take it apart to get it back in my car, and just it's never made it. It'll never make it back.
You start sweating right now thinking about it.
Just thinking about it.
The best thing to come out of it was that the platform with the
on the bottom. Yeah. Dude, my fish tank is sitting on that right now.
Nice.
Because I had to move it around.
Yeah.
Dude,
he needed
full circle, bro. Full circle. Yeah. Well, this has been a fantastic little time here, shooting the shit with Mr. Stevie Dunford and having a drink, enjoying the Lost Sons podcast atmosphere, and trying to keep it sane after Rona. Well, let me do another one. Well, guys, this has been another fun episode of the Lost Sons podcast. Thank you to Steve for coming by and
thanks for having me
and joining us. It was a really good time catching up and stuff like
that.
Dude. Especially amidst everything that's going on. definitely a much needed conversation to just bro down and hang out.
Yeah.
And to have a little bit of a release after all this tension. So,
Yeah.
like I said, thanks for coming by. Thank you for letting me
Cheers.
work on your guitar.
Yeah, man.
And this has been the Lost Sons podcast. Thanks for coming by and checking it out. We'll see you again next week. Maybe we'll review some videos. Maybe we'll do a hot wings challenge. I hope it's the first one. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.